Lovely. Okay, let's do this. So you're going to come to stand, and we're going to stand for quite a bit this evening. Good challenge for these legs. So if you do start to feel any sense of fatigue, you need a rest, just shake it off, and then we'll join back in again. So feet hip distance apart on your mat or on your floor. Knees are soft, and let's just do a few pelvic tilts so that we can find that neutral position and just wake up that little movement around the lower back that feels really nice, just to connect with that area. Good, and then just come to where your pelvis rests level. We're going to melt the shoulders down away from the ears, and we're going to go tall away from the floor, creating space between every bone in our spine. Got the wrong class plan. Lovely, and then just close your eyes for me and just connect with how your body feels today. Connect with any areas of tension, and hopefully when we just recheck with our bodies at the end of the next 30 minutes, everything will feel a little bit better for this work. Okay, open your eyes and relax your hands down by your side, and we're going to start from the feet. So I just want you to come up into a heel raise, float off through your heels, and then lower back down again. So just simple lift and lower, and if you want to, you can add your pelvic floor at the same time. So lift up and release. Gentle squeeze halfway and relax. Make sure you come all the way off before you come back on again. Good. Keep it going. Let's get these ankles warm. Let's get these calves warm. Get a little bit of blood supply running through the calves before we add a little bit of a coordination challenge. So as you float up and down, make sure the pelvis stays level. It's not rocking forwards and backwards. Make sure your shoulders don't start to creep up. Okay, we're going to change our pattern now. So we're going to go up, up, down, down. So one heel pushes up. What that'll do is just lift this hip up. The other heel joins it level. And then we come down and down. Repeat on the same side. Up, up, down, and down. And again, lovely. Up, up, down, and down. Yeah, watch that balance when you get to the top. Good. Okay, super. We're going to add some arms now. So same side. As the leg goes up, the arm floats up. Arm floats up, and then arm floats down and down. So really just associating those two movements so that the torso stays still and the hips lift and the arms lift. As we float the arm up, the shoulder blade melts down towards the waist, and we keep that rib cage connected down rather than letting it flare forwards. And you can do a little draw of your tummy towards your spine to help. Okay, one more on that side, and then we're going to swap. Looking good, guys. Brilliant. Okay, let's leave those arms out, give things a shake if you need to, and now we swap sides. So opposite leg starts, we push up, and then lower, down, down. So same pattern, opposite leg starts. So it's almost as if you've got one leg longer than the other, and then your legs level out, and then one leg shorter than the other, and then your legs level out. And we're just really using these muscles either side of the trunk to help establish that movement. Let's add those arms. So opposite side starting up, up, down, down. Good balance challenge. Well done, guys. Up. Guys and girls, should I say. Down, down. Two more. Keep the neck nice and long. Shoulders melting away from your ears. And if you want to, gently draw your tummy towards your spine. Okay, super. We're going to come up onto the toes now. This time, we're going to alternate the arms. So as one arm floats up, the other arm floats down. So it's like a scissoring motion here. And we're really trying to avoid any movement unwanted at the rib cage. I'm just going to turn and show you what that looks like. So the rib cage stays nice and steady rather than sort of arching at the back and flaring the rib cage forwards as your arms move. Good, let me come and see you. Keep alternating left, right with those arms. Keep those heels lifted unless you need a rest where you can lower those heels down. Everyone's looking good. Oh, Becky, you signed in as Thea. Good, lovely. Okay, and then lower those heels down. Keep those arms above your head, both arms up this time. Okay, without changing the position of the arms, we're going to slide the shoulders up towards the ears and then slide back down again. So imagine those shoulder blades floating up your rib cage and floating down the rib cage. Good, and again, up and down and up and down, really working hard as those arms tire to not let that rib cage flare forwards to hold them there. Draw your tummy towards your spine to get your tummy to help hold the weight of the arms. Good. As if you've got a big beach ball and you're just pushing that beach ball up towards the sky and then down and away. Good. 2 more. This is the only time you can shrug those shoulders. Good, 1 more. And now melt the shoulders down as much as you can. Keep that beach ball, step your feet slightly wider than your hips. And we're going to hold that beach ball up towards the sky as we come into our plie squat. So send the tailbone down towards the floor and the knees to the corners of your mat or the corners of your room. As you come down, make sure those knees don't pass over those toes. If they do, just take your stance a little bit wider and really push through the heels to get those legs working to stand you up. All those arms should be nice and warm now. We're going to go for 2 more and then you're going to pick your depth because we're going to hold this next one. So we hold. Now we take one arm and we circle it round, behind, up and forwards, and we do that with the opposite side. There's absolutely nothing towards the arms other than a distraction for the legs. So think about those lovely big arm circles, nice long neck, but keep that lovely deep plie. Squeeze your bottom, open the fronts of your thighs, send those knees to the corners of the room. If you need to at any point, stand up, shake it off and join back in. Otherwise we've got 2 circles on each side. I'm getting out of breath. Can't talk and do this at the same time. Lovely. And then bring those arms down to your side and super slow up to stand. Nice. Not quite finished yet with these legs. Okay, we are going to take one leg in front of the other. Doesn't matter which one because we're going to work both legs this evening. Now, as we take that leg in front of the other, you're going to let your back heel lift away from the mats. And you want to go fairly long because we're going to work into what we call a split squat or a mini lunge. So you're going to bend that back knee. Now, as that back knee bends, imagine a plumb line traveling down the center of your body. So through your spine, through your whole rib cage, and you travel down to the center and then push back up again. Not forwards, okay? So get that direction of travel, thinking down rather than forwards. It doesn't need to be deep, you could just be here. You could just be here and you're still going to work really hard, or you can go a little bit deeper. But what you want to avoid is this. And if you're struggling with that, try it in front of a wall so that you can't do that because the wall is going to stop you from doing that. Okay, let's go for 3 more. Let me come and see you. Good balanced one. Oh, hi Afshin, thanks for joining. Very nice. Yes, beautiful posture, everyone. Everyone looks lovely and tall through the top of the body. Okay, we are going to hold this next one. This is where things get a little bit spicy. So we're holding this position. Okay, we're going to challenge our balance now as we look over to one shoulder and we look back to the center. And we look over to the opposite shoulder and we come back to the center. We can do it again. And what happens as we look, all those little movements between our ankles and knees, challenge our core even more. 1 more look each side. Good. And come back to the center, and you should feel like you need to push back up to stand after that. Good stuff. Okay, let's shake off and swap to the opposite side now. So just simply change your feet position. Let's focus a little bit more on the alignments of the knees and the hips now. So same idea, the back heel is lifted, a little bit of a gap between your feet, and begin to bend into that back knee. Now as we come down into this little split lunge, you want to think about that front knee. Can you keep that kneecap pointing forwards? Can you stop it from traveling across your knee? Can you stop it from traveling out? It's your beam of light that's shining down the road. Keep it pointing in your direction of travel. Lovely. And once you've got it, test yourself to go a little bit lower. These are tiring, so take rest as you need to. Good. Very good, everyone. Looking nice. Yeah, nice breathing, Liz. So breath out as you come down can sometimes help with that effort. And a breath in as you come up. Okay. 2 more. Then choose your depth and hold. Okay, hold here and we look over one shoulder and we come back to the center and we take it to the other shoulder and we come back to the center and we ignore that voice in our head that tells us to stand up and we look over to the opposite shoulder again, back to the center. One more time, glancing over each shoulder. This is it for legs, guys. No legs on the mat, all just tummy. Okay, back to the center, push back up. Oh, and give everything a bit of a shake, a pat and a rattle. Okay, very nice. Let's come down onto the mat then and see what we've got here. So we'll do a couple of roll downs just so we can really open up the back. We're going to come down to the box position, so if you can stand along the length of your mat, that would be great. So start with your feet hip distance apart, nice and tall. Imagine you're a piece of wallpaper peeling away from the wall. Work through every bone in your spine. To begin with, the knees can be soft, and you can gradually start to increase the depth of that forwards fold as you feel happy to do so. And let's just hang at the end of that, enjoying a breath in and out before you tuck underneath and stack back up to stand. And we're aiming to just progressively go a little bit deeper, allowing our body just to accept that forward fold, allowing the backs of our legs just to open up. Nice, good. Breathing as we go. Fabulous, good. Okay, I'll give you a couple more moments maybe to fit 1 or 2 more in. And then 1 more, let's hold this one a little bit longer. You can either have the hands just kind of hanging in front of you, maybe they're on the floor, maybe not. And we're just going to gently sway and bend into alternate knees, just so we can work the back line of the body a little bit more, but only do that if it's comfortable. Don't force it, don't bounce, it's just a little bend. And then just bend both knees so you can comfortably bring your hands down onto your mats, where we'll come into our box position. Okay, let's use this opportunity just to do a lovely cat-cow stretch. So curl your tailbone underneath, draw your tummy towards your spine, drop your chin towards your chest, and let's reconnect with those deep tummy muscles as we draw that and tighten that tummy as if we've just tightened our belt. And then we're going to go the other way. So we're going to drop the tummy towards the mat. We're going to arch the back tailbone up, bottoms up, look forwards or chin up. Feel that pull through the front of your tummy. And back to your cat stretch. Underneath we go. Really work through every bone in your spine. Push through the heels of your hands. Feel your shoulder blades separate. And then 1 more into your cow stretch. Tummy down, bottom out, chin up. And now you should know those 2 extremes of movement so you can find that midpoint. So we've got a nice long spine. We're looking at that mirror that's placed just between our hands. Our head is floating away from the mat. Our shoulder blades are melting away from our ears, and our tailbone is lengthened towards the heels. And that means we can put a tray of drinks on our backs. And we're going to have a little play around with that stability now. So try and really focus on keeping that tray of drinks level as you take one hand, float it along your mat, and then once you've stretched it as far as you can, maybe start to hover the hand off the mat, maybe an inch or so, maybe even taking it up to shoulder height, but without twisting through the back to do so. And then we touch that hand down and draw it back to our box position, and we repeat on the opposite side. So it's super slow, and as that hand reaches away from your body, you should feel your tummy start to engage a little bit more to give you that sense of stability. Remember, the lift at the end is optional. You could just work to stretch the hand away, a little hover off the mat, and come back down again. What's most important here is that tray of drinks that's resting on your back. So if you lift your hand up and you spill your drinks, it's more important actually to keep those drinks level and work a little bit smaller. Okay, let me see how you're getting on with that. We know this one, so we can be really precise with our movements. Remember to take your rests when you need to. Everyone's looking really good, but just make sure those heads aren't hanging down. Keep that ponytail lifting you up towards the sky. The back of the neck is nice and long. Beautiful. Okay, if at any point the wrists become sore, remember you can just sit back to your heels, give them a bit of a circle, come back, and if you need to, you can make a fist and bear your weight through your knuckles, but it's a good opportunity to strengthen those wrists. Okay, let's give the arms a little bit of a break now and work into the legs. It's the same idea. This time we lengthen one leg along the mat. Now legs are a lot heavier than arms, so it may well be you just stretch the foot away. You may feel that you can lift your leg. You may feel that you can float your leg to hip height. The higher you lift your leg, the more your back is going to want to arch. So keep that tailbone tucked towards those heels as that leg lifts. We touch down and we draw it back in, and then we repeat it on the opposite side. Slide away. Tray of drinks resting, maybe float the foot off the mat an inch, maybe float it up to hip height. It's really up to you, but whatever you do, no banana backs, nice long spines. A little bit of tension in the tummy can sometimes give you a little bit more control, but don't brace, don't hold your breath, and rest when you need to. Beautiful, really nice. Oh, well done, Jill, looks really good. Really good job. Okay, you can stick with this, or what we can do is start to work the tummy muscles a little bit more. So we're going to stretch one leg away. This time when we bring it in, rather than placing it back in our box, we're going to draw it towards our tummy. And then we stretch back to the box position and we repeat on the opposite side. So we lengthen away, maybe lifting, maybe not. Then the knee comes back down, but this time draw the knee towards the tummy as if there's like a little ball somewhere between, just in front of your hands, and you're just trying to nudge that ball with your knee and then place it down with the opposite and repeat on the opposite side. So stretch and lengthen, we are just adding that little nudge of the knee on that ball that's resting between your hands. Good work. Alternate from side to side. You should really feel those tummy muscles tighten up to help you do that. And then your final option is to add opposite hand, opposite leg. So we stretch and lengthen away, maybe with the hands connected to the floor, maybe we reach up. Now as we draw the knee in, we're going to touch that hand towards that knee across the body, and then we touch down and replace and repeat and do it with the opposite side. So lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Option to lift. Draw back down, touch the hand and knee together. Bring the knee closer to the hand, let the knee do most of the work, and then replace and repeat. Remember, the hands are the option. You can just keep working on those legs. You can rest when you need to. Give those wrists a break. Always working opposite hand, opposite leg. Beautiful, really nice, and really slowly control that knee draw coming in. Really make your tummy work hard for it. Beautiful work, everyone. That's looking great, 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 great. Well done, Lucy. Good. Okay, let's all sit back onto our heels and give those wrists a little circle. So that got those tummy muscles working in preparation for our next exercise. So we're going to be working on our leg pull series. So back in the box position when you're ready, the toes are tucked under, and then we imagine that there's a band tied around those knees, and we're just pushing the outside of the knees into the band. Tighten the tummy towards the spine, and we float the knees off the mat. So that tray of drinks is still resting on our backs. We don't want to lift our bottoms up, it's just a couple of inches up and then down. And this is really about building up your endurance. So to start with, you may just lift and lower. And then as things feel a little bit stronger, you can lift and hold. And then I've got a big challenge for those who feel super strong this evening. So we're really avoiding any knees dropping in. Keep those knees in line with those hips. Don't let that head drop down. Make sure that neck is floating up nice and long towards your ceiling or your sky. Wow, looks good. Take those rests when you need to. Sit back off those hands. Lovely, Lauren, really strong. Fiona, that's perfect view for me. I can see a lovely flat back. Very nice. Okay, I said I've got an option for you. Might not be for everyone. We're going to come into what we call a bear crawl. So you're in that little box position with the knees lifted. You take the opposite hand, opposite foot, step it forwards, and then repeat that with the opposite side. 2 forwards, 2 backwards. Now, this is all about control. So if you can bear crawl without spilling your drinks, then go for it. If you're finding that your drinks are just spilling all over your mat, just stick with the lifts, okay? You can bear crawl and have a little rest, or you can see how many you can fit in up and down your mat before I stop you. I'm coming to see who's going for it. Oh my goodness, we've got most people. Don't push yourself, guys. It's hard though. Do what you can. Amazing. Really good. Yeah, shake it off and join in when you can. Brilliant. Okay, super. Right, let's all sit back onto those heels. I'm sure that's got your heart pumping a little bit. So let's just come into that shell stretch. Drop your head down towards your mat and breathe deeply. Find that lovely breath that sits right down in the base of the lungs. And just let your body settle into that lovely deep stretch. Super, and let's stretch those tummy muscles out in our Cobra. So come to lie on your tummies and then push away from the mat. Maybe you're here, or maybe you're fully extended through the elbows. Just do what works for you. This should feel nice. So if it doesn't feel nice, don't push it, but really try and just lengthen through the spine. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. You can look forwards or you can look up. And then smooth your spine down along the mat. And when you're ready, come to lie on your backs. So final little push now. Tummy work, bit of coordination work, and then a nice little mobility flow for our spines to finish. So we did a lot of this overhead reaching in our warm-up. We're going to play around with that on the mat now, so make sure you've got enough space behind you. When you're ready, set yourself up in your rest position so your knees are bent, feet hip distance apart. Now, as we work with any overhead reaching, what's vital and key is that we really make sure that the rib cage doesn't flare to try and compensate. And by using our upper abdominal strength and control, it's going to limit that. So we have this idea of lying on a sandy beach. Wouldn't that be lovely? And you're just gently pressing your rib cage down into the sand. It's not a full pressure, not a flattening, it's just gently printing your rib cage down. You still got a little gap between the lower part of the back and the sand, but just keeping that rib cage pressed down. And as you do that, you should feel your upper tummy just kind of tenses up a little bit to help with that. Okay, we're going to breathe in, and as we breathe out, we're going to take that overhead reach. Don't worry about how far your hands reach over your head. Think about that lovely sandy beach. Just gently press your rib cage into the mat. It should feel like it gets a bit of a struggle when you get to the top. If you can easily reach your hands over the top, chances are you've lost that gentle connection with the rib cage and your sandy beach. Okay, and we're going to take that through as big a range as we can. So reach up and overhead, and then bring the hands all the way back down to either side of the waist. And if you're struggling with that, work a little bit harder by just drawing the tummy towards the spine without bracing, just a gentle activation of those tummy muscles as we reach those hands up and over. And this is a really nice time to breathe. The breath out will take your hands up and over the top of your head, and the breath in brings you back down either side. Oh, I'm just enjoying the visualization of lying on a beach at the moment. Okay, now you might find that that's enough for you, please just work with this if you want to. But if you want to add a little bit of load for the lower tummy, we're going to float our leg into tabletop position. So our tabletop position stacks our knee over our hip, and we bring that knee and hip to 90 degrees. Making sure now that we've got that constant pressure on that small sponge that rests underneath that arch of the back. And also just make sure you've not sort of rolled off your hips. You've got equal pressure through both hips. Lovely. Now swap legs and go for a tabletop on the other side. So you're just holding that tabletop position as you work to float those arms up and over. So we're really opening up the shoulders tonight, really challenging that rib cage control. Now you've probably guessed it, what we can do to make it a bit harder is bring that second leg into play now, so in a double tabletop. But if that pulls on your back at all and you find that you're arching in your back and you can't maintain that pressure on the little sponge in the small of your back, then just stick with a single tabletop. Hug your knees towards your chest when you need a rest, and then join back in, and I will come and see how we're doing with that. That looks good. Well done, Becky, looking good. Lovely. I think most of us are in double tabletop. Very good. Okay, 2 more. One more, and then hug your knees towards your chest. Okay, not quite done with that. We're going to add a leg stretch. So we're all going to go into a single tabletop. Let's take the left leg up. This time, as we take that reach overhead with the arms, we lengthen the leg away. Now your levels here, if you want to work a little bit less, you reach your foot higher off the floor. If you want to work a little bit harder, as you stretch your foot away, lower it down towards the ground. Any clunking or clicking in your hips, try not to go too low. And if that feels like still too much of a challenge, don't worry about fully straightening the leg, just get a little bit of length and then close that down again. Take it super slow so you can really feel that stretch through the front of the body. We're working on length and control, which gives us a slightly different strength here. And remember to breathe. That's it, Chris. Lovely. Some of you are taking those feet really low. Okay, swap sides with that tabletop and then join back in. Brilliant. Really nice. All about that rib cage. Keep that gentle pressure through your rib cage into the sand. Very nice, Jill. Well done, Julia. That's great, Liz. Really good, everyone. Okay, so options here to build. Double tabletop. We hold the double tabletop, reach those hands over the top, and then we add that single leg stretch. Okay, so we can still work at a challenging level, but take the feet higher. Or super duper challenge is the feet come lower, but really monitoring for that little change in pressure on the sponge in the small of your back. Now, if this feels like it's too much of a step up, then we can go back down to our single leg, lengthening. If any of you want more, float the head and shoulders off the mat. But keep that lovely space between your chin and your chest and really use that rib cage driving down towards your waist to float your head and shoulders up. Wherever you are, lengthen and hold. Lengthen and hold. You may not look like I do. You might be here. You might be here. Just hold whatever you're doing. Hold, 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 and then switch legs. Whatever you're doing, switch legs. The foot might be down, it might be high, it might be low, head might be up, head might be down. Just hold, 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 and then everybody hug those knees towards the chest. Gentle up from side to side. Okay, I promised you spinal mobility to finish and we're almost running out of time, so let's squeeze it in. We're going to work into our bridge sequence, not for strength, but more for mobility. So I want you to imagine all of the bones in your spine, and your aim is to try and peel them away from the mat one at a time. So starting with your knees bent and your feet hip distance apart, you're going to gently press your small of your back into your sponge, feel your tailbone lift. Continue to roll away from the mat one bone at a time. Take that to where you can so that your hips are lifted, and then we're going to do that lovely overhead reach now. Try not to flare the rib cage up too much. If you can get your hands above your head, great. If not, take them to where you can. Keep your hands where they are, and now smooth your spine back down onto the mat, and you should just feel everything release around your rib cage, around the sides of your body. Okay, so the hands go back down to waist, and then we repeat that sequence. So we peel up through the spine, peel, 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 working through the bones. Take it to where you can for your lift, and then we reach the hands up and overhead. Flop the hands down onto the mat, make them feel nice and heavy, and then smooth your spine back down again. Hands come back down towards your side, and then repeat. So equal amounts of concentration and effort as we lift the spine away from the mat to when we peel it back down again. And really notice any areas that feel a bit stiffer, and then engage a bit more focus on that area the next time round. We're going to do about 4 more. Let me come and see how you're going with those. And even though the focus is on getting the spine moving, it's still going to get the legs working. You might feel the back of the body working a bit harder, hamstrings, glutes, especially after that leg sequence to begin with. Lovely. Very nice. And then once you've finished that kind of final one, your 4th one, I just want you to hug your knees towards your chest, and that hug should feel absolutely lovely. It's going to stretch out the whole of the back of the body, which is exactly what we've just worked on to lift us up away from the mat. So I'm just going to watch and admire your final repetitions, and then I'll let you know when we are all in that lovely knee hug together. Don't rush though, guys. You take your time. But when you are there, just really gently rock from side to side, or you can do like a circular motion to massage the small of your back into the mat. Brilliant. Lovely. Well done. Okay, I think all of us just doing our last one. So enjoy that knee to chest hug, and then when you're ready, either come to lie on your side, or you can rock gently forwards and backwards, whatever works for you, and then bring yourself up to sit.